This is literally one of three in existence. This is the Monomachine Keys MK2 with a plus drive. They came out with the Monomachine Keys Mark 1, but this is the Mark 2 where you have weird functions, kind of like if you hold this down, you can load snapshots from the plus drive. And on top of that, you have other different engines that you can access when it comes to the Digi Pro, like the Digi Draw and the Digi Ensemble. And I want to say there might have been another one in there that I missed, and a couple other things. How I even got this, I'm just borrowing this. I do not own this. I think this is like an unquantifiable value in terms of what it is. There's only, like I said, there's only three. There's no serials on this. One was made for, oh man, I can't remember his name, but it was his 60th birthday. One was an engineer who made his. And then this one, if you own an Octatrack, you owe him thanks for that product as well. But either way, I'm not a pro at this, but I came across this crazy pattern that I just made while exploring the drums on here. So on track 5, if I go to edit, I got the beatbox. And originally I kind of passed this off as like, whatever. They're probably just throwing drums similar to like the Pocket Operator Speak, where they have the tonic on the last engine. It's just to kind of like let you have some drums. But yo, these are powerful. Listen to this. Do you hear this? This is crazy. What's happening here is basically I took one of my old MPC tricks where I move the filter and I kind of bump up and resonate the filter specifically one spot, which is where the kick drum is. And then I do that classic Tejada style filter effect where I have an LFO going at random, but only triggering. I kind of did a video on this here when I did it on, actually, I think I did it on the Peak or the Pro 3. Doesn't matter. I did it. You can basically do it on any synth that has the sample and hold. Trigger, rate's really slow. So every time I hit it, it's actually moving the filter's base point, which is its resonant frequency base-wise, but leaving the filter top open. And it's allowing it to kind of play bass notes, but randomly. Listen. If I were to just play this. Right? If we were to push this up a little further, and we go to our filters here. Right? It kind of keeps moving this around. I know that I had this set to 24. Also, if you're wondering why I keep hitting stop twice, is because I have a delay somewhere in here and I don't know how to turn it off. So I just keep hitting stop twice. But altogether, right? And I think when I first got this Monomachine and I started messing with it, I even hit up the owner and I was like, so what's cool about it? It just kind of sounds like an okay digital synthesizer, because if you're not familiar with the Monomachine, you got 6 tracks and they're all monophonic, and they each have their own sequencer, and then you also have 6 MIDI tracks on top of that. And this thing came out a while ago, so that was pretty powerful at the time, but it was still really weird for a manufacturer to say, we're going to make a 6-track digital, when the world is endless, digital monophonic synthesizer. And you get some really, really crazy cool synth engines in here, but the whole time you're wishing that it was polyphonic. And sure, you have the function poly mode, which allows you to play one selected synth engine polyphonically across the keys, which is cool, but it robs all the voices from all the other tracks. So it's just like, what are you doing? What the heck was the point of this thing, right? And using this, I used to have the machine drum. It's nice to go back and kind of remember this workflow and also remember why you hated it. And 2, it's also nice to see where they kind of came from and where they're going. For example, if I turn this off and I turn it back on, you'll see this Digi right here at the beginning. Watch, it's kind of cool. The Digi Pro has nothing to do with Digitact or the Digitone. So I'm told it's like kind of a stretch, but not really. They don't really have that much to do with one another. But it's just kind of, I don't know, if you're an Elektron fan going down memory lane is kind of cool. So I have this track here, and I realized after using this for a while that while this is just a digital synth that sounds okay, where it really shines, where the magic is at, is in pushing the effects really, really far. Because they are digital effects, they kind of do some weird things. Even just kind of hitting the same track over and over again can lead to like interesting results. So if I go to track 3 here, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna say edit, and I'm just gonna choose, let's just say FM dynamic, and right, so I can go to synthesis. Like, cool, that sounds pretty cool. And the FM on here is actually really fun to use because I feel as if all the wave shapes doing the FM stuff is key synced. So it never really gets too far off, but you can take this and do a second feedback. This is a trick by, let me find his name. He needs a shout out. John Lazo. He's the one who taught me a ton of this through his videos. So if you're interested in more of this and more of its weirdness, go check out his stuff. Basically, all I'm doing is just a rehashed version of what he was doing in his videos. Right? So say we have something like this. Oh, you know what? I already messed up, but it's okay. We'll work it out. Basically, I wanted to use track 4 or something else because you have the ability to turn these engines into effects engines as well instead of synth engines, and they will work neighbor wise. So basically, they will take the track before it and apply the effect to that track. It's called the neighbor track. It's weird. But weirdly, this helped me understand it, so now I think I get it on the Octa track. So say we do something even wilder. Right, we'll go to our amplification. Oh, that is so cool. Right. All right, cool. Let's just do something like this. I'm going to say on this first note, I'm going to play this really high-pitched note, F7. So now the rest of them are going to be F7 consecutively, or they're all just going to stay there, whatever the word is for that. Paste, paste, paste. This will probably sound crazy. Right? So this is cool. Kind of basic. We can kind of push this a bit further, right? We have, of course, our effects, delay, send. Careful with the feedback. It goes really insane. So what I want to do is I actually want to move the effects feedback around. So I'm going to go to LFO1. I can say, where do I want this to go? Effects, delay, feedback. I'm going to do the same thing. Random, trigger, by how much? You hear it there? And because this feedback goes insanely crazy, I need to be careful when I hit stop. You hear that right there? Because it's going to want to like out of like into infinity. I can also go to the effects here and kind of fine tune the delay itself. Cut off a little low end, cut off a little high end, some sample reduction. We'll go back to the filter. I'm going to turn the bass up, which is the way Elektron filters work are weird. Bass is a kind of a high pass. Width is a low pass based off of the position of the bass. So if you move the high pass up to here, now your low pass is moving across this section. At least that's what I think. Ooh, yo, did you hear that bass? Same thing, turn this up. Right, and without this track, oh, careful. Okay, so where do we go from here? Basically, you can kind of just keep pushing these things around. For example, one thing I would like to do, but I haven't fully figured it out yet, is using the internal bus routing. For example, if I go to track 3's edit, which is our crazy percussion thing that we got going on right now, I can send it to output CD, right? Which is these two outputs here. And I can tell track 2 to listen to bus CD and do a different type of machine. So we can say like do a flanger, and its output will go to AB. But I don't think that that's, I feel like I'm still missing something else there, right? Because if I say play now, yeah, I still feel like I'm missing something in here. Unless it's literally this, and I need to just go to my amplification, because the other weird thing, yeah, it's missing. The other crazy thing that is kind of hard to even explain is that the effects, when a track is turned into an effect, hold on, even the reason I'm even explaining this is to open your mind into thinking of different ways to take routing when it comes to modular gear, DAW music, or honestly anything. Because when it comes to DAWs, you can do whatever. When it comes to this thing, it kind of feels like a weird modular system built in. And it's kind of nuts because you can route a bunch of things anywhere, and each track has 3 LFOs that can all be sent to different places and do different things on every page and different pages. And it just gets really, really wild. But the routing of this that gets really funky is that, for example, we have track 3 here, which is, right, this crazy thing. If I go to track 4 and I say edit, and I want to turn track 4 into an effect and turn this into a reverb, but its input's going to be neighbor, which is the track right before it. This now, the synthesis engine, which is the effects engine, is coming before the amplification and the filter and the additional effects and LFOs. So it's first in line. So now you have reverb or amplification control over your reverb. Kind of crazy. In a world where I'm so kind of locked in my little box and sometimes take a second to think outside of it, I always put reverb at the tail end of whatever my sound is. But this, I'm like, what if reverb or your effects aren't the end, right? On most modern synthesizers, effects is last in chain. Here it comes down to here. Pro 3, it goes up to there. But here it comes first, and then you have everything behind it. And this isn't a sponsored video or anything. I'm not trying to, toot Elektron's horn, but this thing is just really freaking weird. And I guess you kind of can't buy this thing because it doesn't really exist. But let's see if I did this proper. So track 4 should technically be listening to track 3, mix, decay. If I turn on, yeah, there it is, cool. So amplification, we'll turn up the decay and the release because again, I have that, right? So I'm gonna go to my mix, turn it all the way up, turn my level down. And if I wanted, I can start maybe putting in some patterns for this. So I'll say, cool, I'll copy this, paste, 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 and then we turn these down. Right, we can say, or let's try a different effect. We'll say flanger. Right, say we wanted to move that around, easy. We go to filter, page, feedback, free. Not the feedback, it's going to be the delay. Right, and what's cool is you have a ton of room for gain staging because that's very important with this. Things start to really distort heavily once in a while, but you can really just rein it in. Amplification, maybe some attack to your flanged effect. Shape it up a little. This is crazy. You're adding a filter to your flange. And then I can even say, all right, we got this weird pattern going, right? I'll just do a weirder one where it's just every other kind of, I don't even know what pattern this is called. We'll say we have here, and then I want to give a gap of 2, and then here, gap of 2. 1, 1, boom, 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 and then 2, and then basically the first one repeated over again. So this is now moving this filter around. This is just the flanger, by the way. And I can get really weird and say, let's just do filter movements. So in between these. Right, and then I can go back to our filter and just shave off a little bit of the low end. Yo, the delay. Careful, it goes nuts. That wasn't this. That was just the delay doing its own thing. Maybe I'll go back and kind of put in a little bit of a fail safe and not move it that much. Because it's so funny, because it's so random. You might have a random where it's 3 high, so the feedback just stays maxed across 3 different steps, and you're done. You're done, kid. Throw in the towel. Your hearing's gone. I only got half of mine left, and I'm over here messing around with this thing. Dangerous. Right, so we'll go to filter now. Say we go to LFO 2. We'll do square 2. I'll say filter. I want to go to the width. Not that much. Go back to our filter. Oh, wrong one. This is just so wild. Absolutely insane space age weirdness. I'm gonna copy this pattern and I want to move it to another pattern. So we'll say, we'll go here. Cool, we're still good. Track 1, I'm going to unmute track 1, and let me go to track 1. 1 is cleared. One of my favorite things about this, again, I thought it was kind of whatever, but it's actually really nice, is if I go to the, where's that, the Digi Pro Ensemble, this allows you to create chords. So I can say, cool, we're on ensemble mode, back to synthesis. This gives me, let me try this up. Filter, synthesis. I can add multiple notes to this one key. So we'll do 10. What is it? 7. That's kind of cool. Now I want to add some movement to that. What? Oh, did I forget to record that? Let's say, Bloodline, what's going on? Is my amp settings really weird? Oh, loser. So I had this set to filter mode only. We needed to go to amp. I want to go ahead and clear this. And right, so that hold can come down, decay can come down. Filter. High, good attack. All right, turn this down a little bit. A little delay send in there. Right, and then 6 you can also use as a neighbor track to kind of catch all the tracks and use them as a master. Right now I have it set to a reverb, and I just have it completely open across the whole amp. This allows me to kind of go in and just add some more weirdness if I really wanted, like sample reduction to the whole track. Or I can go back to its synthesis here, which is the reverb, kind of high pass a bunch of stuff. You can already hear it there, and then this is of course the level. Anyway, yo, to my friend, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for letting me borrow this thing. It's been crazy, and I haven't had something make me feel so so good, because it's like you don't know anything, right? And that's a nice moment to have once in a while. So I love this thing. It's been fun. Will I ever buy one at these prices? No way. No way. Is this really cool? Hell yeah. Is this really fun to sample? Hell yeah. I mean, listen to this. Anyway, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming by. Oh my God. Yo, that literally gave, okay, before I embarrass myself anymore, I appreciate you. I hope to see you again. Love you. Thanks for coming by. And I'll see you next week. And until then, you already know the drill. Share the love, share the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Peace.